Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of Tea from the Galaxy, a thirst quenching podcast for the girls, gays, theys, and astrology baes, where we talk about anything and everything through an astrological lens. So, I am so excited about today's episode. The guest that I have on this week's podcast is Linawa, a.k.a. the Astro Mom on TikTok. We have found each other through TikTok, actually. Her TikTok page is right now solely dedicated to Scorpio Risings, and I am a Scorpio Rising just like her. What better time to have an episode all about what it feels like to be a Scorpio, in specifics, Scorpio Rising, than Scorpio season. Happy Scorpio season, guys. So we definitely talk about all the ins and outs of what it feels like to be a Scorpio Rising, things that we've been through, what's happening currently with Scorpios and Scorpio Risings. Linawa is also a mother of 4 children, all of who have some type of Scorpio placement. She knows all about what it means to be a Scorpio and what it feels like, what it looks like, what raising children who have Scorpio placements looks like as well. Linawa recently just started her own podcast as well called Cosmic Rebels, where she uses her knowledge on astrology to empower children and also using it to help parents understand their children through an astrological lens as well. Her own personal story is very inspiring. Falling in love with astrology and gaining astrological information as well has changed her perspective on just life, how she shows up in general, but also how she shows up as a parent as well, and helping her understand her children and helping meet her children's needs as well, which I think is just super, super inspiring. And I feel like you guys will love this episode. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. I love your astrology TikTok page. It's very rare to find a page that's very dedicated to just a certain placement or aspect, but I think it's so needed because it helps you learn the ins and outs of what that placement is, like if you're really trying to learn your chart. So I'm a Scorpio rising. So when I found your page, I was like, oh, I need to follow this page. When did you specifically start getting into astrology, or why? What was like that, your storyline with that?
A why moment. It was in 2021. I've been a photographer for a very long time. It's in my DNA. And then COVID made me open up a cleaning business, and I had a whole crew. I had like employees, I had someone in charge of HR. I was going through this weird time, like scarcity mindset. I have to make money. My photography studio actually closed down. My cat moon is in the second house in Placidus. So it's a money thing. A
Oh, you
friend,
also have a Capricorn moon?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's something that I usually ask at the beginning. I was gonna ask what
Oh,
your big
really?
three
Okay.
is, but
Yeah.
so your big three is
I'm a Virgo sun at 15 degrees. So I do use
okay.
Placidus. I
Okay.
merge the two together, but
Me
so
too.
okay, cool. A lot of people don't do that, I guess, but I do. It works for me and the clients. My Virgo sun's in 15 degrees. My cat moon is an 8, and it sextiles my ascendant at Scorpio rising 8 degrees exactly. So
Okay.
I'm a moody ass person.
Me, I'm a Cancer.
Okay, yeah. So maybe you're like nicer. I'm very rough around the edges. It's very hard. It's hard. It's Capricorn.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very moody, but when the moon sextiles the ascendant, it does soften the Scorpio rising a little bit. So,
Yeah.
but it's still a Capricorn moon at the end of the day. So
Yeah. And then with that Virgo sun, it's very adds like to the earthiness of
yeah,
the Capricorn moon. We're ruled by Mars, it's
yeah,
that passion. Like if something is really like strikes a chord, we move with that emotion first.
yeah. I
So, and
think, yeah, my emotions strike a whole symphony inside.
yeah.
My Mars isn't in Leo. That squares my ascendant. So, and then there's
Mm,
other things that just make me pretty volatile. But
yeah,
yeah. Now, is your
me
Mars in
too.
Scorpio?
No, my Mars is in Cancer, but it's opposite
Okay.
my moon.
Okay.
So
That's
I
difficult.
definitely struggled with growing up controlling like my emotions and anger. It
Yeah.
was like 0 to 100.
Yeah.
So still to this day, I feel like now as an adult, I found something that helps me, and I always give this advice to people who have like prominent Scorpio and Aries placements to have a physical outlet, like a
Oh,
workout
oh
routine.
my gosh, you have to.
Like it does numbers for me. Like having a workout routine. It just helps me so much, not even
Mhm.
physically, but mentally, emotionally, like just
Yeah.
get all those emotions out, just physically moving your body. And I'm into like kickboxing too,
Yeah.
like boxing, stuff like that, like
Yeah.
physical movement. So you said in 2020, you,
Yeah, it was just things were going on. A friend of mine, I was meeting up with her. Um, Long story short, she literally introduced me to astrology and said, "Here, put in your information." Um, and I'm pretty obsessive and can learn when I'm interested in something, I just learn nonstop. So that's what happened. Now, when I was a child, I was very into astrology. So anything that had Virgo, I just had it. It was mine. So
yeah.
there was like pride in this zodiac of my sun sign, but I didn't know about anything else. And then I did go through a period when I became a Christian where I didn't even touch a horoscope. So I'm pretty much self-taught. I do workshops when I can. Um,
Awesome.
yeah, I love to learn. Maybe this is my cat moon, but I love to learn from the older astrologers. So the people in their 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have books. I'll go to workshops. I just signed up for two online. So I just started learning and then I created an avatar basically of like every personality I'd meet. I have my whole dentist office, like their charts in an app that I don't use the app for my clients, but I use it for
Hmm.
personal fun use. Like you're just meeting someone and
Yeah.
you want to look at your chart real fast and I'll just tell them little things about them. I think I have like 250 charts in there that I just collected since it was, I want to say 2020, the end of 2021 is when I started to learn about astrology. I think that's the time frame. I was wanting and desiring a career with freedom and travel, which I didn't know it at the time, but that lines up with Sag on the second for Scorpio Rising.
Yeah.
And something clicked when I learned what the Vesta asteroid was. And I said, oh my gosh, this just because of my own natal Vesta and the placement, I said, this is literally what I want to do for a living. And I started charging and testing my talent or my skill right off
Mhm.
the bat. And so the rest is really history.
So, I don't know too much about certain asteroids. I'm learning more. I'm really into Chiron, working with Chiron. But what really does Vesta represent? I'm not too familiar, to be honest.
Vesta is so it's part of like my signature readings that I do. I call it passion and purpose. So it's the passion. It looks like flames on the astrology chart, and it is one of the
Mm,
larger asteroids. Um, it's based obviously in Greek mythology to do
yeah.
with, I believe, the goddesses that worked at the temples. And these goddesses had to
Ooh.
keep the flames lit. And if they didn't, they'd be sacrificed or killed. And that fire, the flame represents the hearth or the fire, like the fireplace of the home. So I always tell my clients, you don't start the fire and walk away. You have to tend to the fire. Not in this society. Everybody's all about like success and the career. And I'm very rebellious. I do have Black Moon Lilith conjunct Uranus in Scorpio. And so I've always been kind of rebellious and about autonomy. So I try to help people integrate their Vesta with the career. That's people are kind of lost.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
So
a
that's
big Scorpio rising thing. I feel like me having a Scorpio rising and how we view the world and our perception is passion should be incorporated into your daily life and you should
yep,
live out your passions.
yep, yeah.
That makes so much sense that you're like, yeah, let's combine this into your
Yeah.
career
Yeah.
because I'm always giving that advice to people. Like, and I'm always such a big supporter if someone has a dream, even if it
Me
seems
too.
like a little
Yeah. Is it
delusional.
crazy? Oh, I'm all
Yeah,
for it. Are you kidding
I'm
me?
all for it.
The
Yeah.
crazier, the better.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
live it out, believe in it. And if no one else believes in you, like I'll believe in you. But
Yeah.
then also you probably relate to me because we have Capricorn moons. I'm
Yeah.
like, but you need to put the work in. Like if it's just a dream and it's just a fantasy, because I've also been
Yeah.
close to people like that too, where they have these big dreams and nothing is being put into motion. And I'm just like, you're not really giving me anything to work with here. You're making it very hard for you. It's like hard to watch almost.
Yeah.
So
I am detached from clients in that way. Um,
yeah.
I think it's because my oldest child's also 21 and I just believe in like kind of like letting God do his thing and everybody can be heard and like their deepest desires and their purpose is you can't run from it. The asteroid Vesta doesn't really
Mm.
activate until you're 30. So it kind of goes with the nodes. Those don't really activate until you're 30 as far as how I've learned it.
Like
So, but
around your Saturn return?
exactly. So
Interesting.
there's a process. So I do give readings to younger people in their early 20s, much different. I feel like they're so worried, especially when I get these hungry people, because you have to wait for things to activate. But
Yeah.
um like I know all my kids Vesta, I know my partner's Vesta, so it's just important to know your Vesta. It's not like it's really hidden.
Hmm.
You need permission. So the parents need to activate it, in my opinion, from like the moment you're born,
Yeah.
but it is there. Yeah.
That's interesting. A point that I wanted to ask you about that you briefly touched upon earlier was you said that when you were Christian, that you kind of put astrology to the side. I grew up Catholic. So when I started getting into astrology, it was like a push and pull, like a tug of war almost that, okay, well, I grew up like this and I'm told that I shouldn't believe in this, but also I love this study. Like I fell in love with this study, so let me keep an open mind. Do you still identify as being Christian, or what was that journey incorporating
I
that?
do. It all makes sense to me. My Mars is in the ninth house. I've gone through very dogmatic stages of my life. Now that I'm in my 40s, I don't push anything, I believe, on anyone, including my children who go to a private Christian school where I was basically interrogated because the principal found out what I did for a living. And
Really?
yeah, and so I was asked a lot of questions and I said, "Listen, what is the problem?" Because I'm all about my kids' autonomy and they want to be there. And my son, I think it was him or my daughter said astrology is stupid, and that is just an opinion, and that's fine. And then back to the charts, I know his chart. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of funny. I actually went to there every Friday they have like a worship, and I went. This is the first time I went, and I was very inspired and took a picture because I'm going to make a post on TikTok later. And you probably know because it sounds like you have ninth house placements, whether Placidus or whole sign. So,
Yeah.
like, I'm seeing these words based on scripture, and I'm seeing the bigger picture of like the Mercury in retrograde in Sag and like solidifying and taking your breath in. And I don't go to church. I've gone to life group. I was still going to life group. My best friend is very, very Christian. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but she also uses astrology from me. I help her with
Yeah.
its charts and stuff, but it's always, well, let's pray and da 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 da. I'm very into psychology. Like, don't tell me to
Same.
pray, but we're gonna not see a therapist. Use
Yeah.
the analogy of we're not going to send someone to heart surgery, but then not tell them to clean up your diet. There has to be some like ownership and responsibility. But I've always been interested in God. For me, the Bible, the way it's been like it's spoken to me still resonates to this day. The only thing
Yeah.
that is difficult is the astrology with like the way Christianity is in this country. It doesn't really fit in, but I have a lot of friends that absolutely like read the Bible, love the Bible, and they're even, I feel like, a little bit above me. They talk about concepts I don't even get, like
Mm-hmm.
molecules, and it's bigger. She's an Aquarius, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, makes sense. Yeah, that sounds
Yeah,
very Aquarius-like.
yeah. So that's where I'm at right now.
I still believe in God and I still do what I do. People think that me being into astrology, that I don't believe in that anymore. Like I don't believe in God. I will say I'm not super religious. I do identify with being more spiritual. I
Right.
also think that astrology is more of like a science in a way that
It's a pattern. It's a
yeah, it's an observation
pattern.
of patterns,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like a roadmap. It's a tool. That's how I view it. It's not like you have to believe. I don't pray to my birth chart. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think exactly what you said, there needs to be more than just prayer. I think that's a spiritual health, right? Like we need to take care of not just our physical, mental, and emotional, but spiritual health.
Right.
But then there needs to be like other things, like what you said, going to therapy. Now that's helping your mental health and emotional health, and then
Yeah.
a workout routine, that's physical health. Like
Yeah.
I believe in that as a well-rounded.
Right.
So, yeah, and I also believe in duality, and I think that every religion, the basis and foundation of every religion is very, very similar.
Fishermen have to look up the tides. It's based on the moon,
Yeah.
the magnetic pull with the water and everything. I read things in my kids' science book, and I'm just like, okay.
People who are a little iffy of thinking that astrology isn't real. That's like one of the reasons that I say it's like, do you believe in energy? That's literally the study of astrology, how certain planets and alignments energetically are affecting us here on Earth. That's literally what it is.
I do kids' charts reading.
I love that.
If I had to pick one niche, it would just, and I do believe in niching down, by the way. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so it would just be the kids because it's like, and that's a lot of Scorpio risings with Leo on the MC. I think we can make very good parents. We want to protect children. Our inner
Hmm.
child wasn't really usually well protected for the typical archetype of Scorpio rising. So
Yeah.
I just love it. And I'm just like, I want to tell the parents, like, relax, get out of their way. They know what they're doing.
I definitely connect with you on that too. I worked with children for a time period of my life. And when I went to school, I first wanted to be a social worker because I wanted to help children in the system. Switched over to just psychology with a focus on child development. So I was always interested in wanting to work with children, but I never knew exactly what I wanted to do specifically. I never had that guidance of what job should I do. I never really saw myself as being a therapist per se. I like the research side of it. I do have eighth house
Yeah.
placements.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm very much, a researcher type of analyzer, read in between the lines, get down to nitty-gritty. Like, I love psychology. I love how the human brain works, and especially in children. So, and how what happens to you in childhood really forms who you are as an adult. Now, let's take it to another layer. I also got into astrology in college when I was learning all of this. And I was like, what if we combine the
Yeah.
two? I started working with children. Obviously, I never asked parents for their birth time, but I would look up their birthday and
Yeah.
see like their chart, and you
Really.
could really see
Yes.
how they're different, how they absorb information differently, how they learn differently by what they need emotionally, like just by their moon sign, by how they learn their Mercury sign, stuff like that. So I would love in the future if astrology is starting to become, more mainstream, people are
Will be.
open-minded to
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
It will
That
be. I'm
if we it
predicting that.
will be, right? I think so
Yeah.
too. I think that is definitely headed happening in our future where it'll be more incorporated
Mainstream.
in,
Yeah.
yeah, stuff like that. I mean, I'm starting to see therapists now incorporate more spiritual tools, astrology, stuff like that, Reiki into their
They are. Yeah.
practice,
If you
which
go
I
do a
love.
search on YouTube, there I've found some therapists and psychotherapists that actually talk about the astrology. And Carl Jung used astrology as well.
Yeah.
And I love Carl Jung, and I
Me
found out
too.
and I have a lot in common with you too because I was heading towards getting my AS degree in social what is it called, social work. So I'm done with school, I'm done with this. And then a year later I said, hey, I need that degree, and I never officially applied for the degree, and they said, well, you need more credits because now the
Mm,
ethics class is worth 2 points, not one. And I said, screw it, I don't need the I don't need the degree. um,
yeah.
I wanted to work with people in addictions actually.
Interesting.
That's
Yeah.
I do have a lot of planets in the 12th house, so it makes sense. And this is what I do with helping my clients see the bigger picture, or if I'm looking at a child's chart, I remind that parent, we don't know what careers will be here in 30 years. We do not know.
Yeah.
Um, who would have ever thought I'd be into astrology and then have clients that are paying me to do that, or that's just what brings me a lot of joy. So you don't have to have this degree to do this thing. And then there are ethics though that you have to fall into, be careful with how you disclaim things or whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
but you're on that path. You're helping people dig into the psyche. That's the eighth house, and I'm sure
Yeah.
you do it in a very nurturing way too.
Yeah. Big eighth house things, Scorpio rising things.
Yeah.
So what made you dedicate your TikTok page currently to being a Scorpio rising instead of like what it means to be a Virgo or a
Yeah.
Capricorn moon? Like what made you choose that placement?
So I started the TikTok for astrology maybe a few years ago. It was a while ago. If you go and watch those really early videos, I'm kind of timid and I'm just giving information. And then I going through a divorce. We sold the house, and so I was in this waiting period in 2024 from May to the end. Oh, like what? It was almost Scorpio season, and I'm thinking, what the? For this whole time, I'm thinking, what the hell do I do with this TikTok page? I niche down actually because I'm not an organized person, and I think you have to be very organized and to to fulfill every rising sign that's out there and to give them the information is very overwhelming to me. And I said, I can't do that.
Yeah.
That's one I can't do. So that's why I niched down. The fact that I'm an 8-degree Scorpio rising, I feel like I'm your people.
Scorpio, yeah,
I got
ultimate
you.
Scorpio,
Yeah.
Scorpio,
Yeah,
yeah.
I got you guys. And listen, here's the thing. You do not want to piss a Scorpio rising off. So that weighs on me. Like I don't see it as my TikTok. This is the Scorpio rising's TikTok. And I really try to be intentional with like feeding them. I
Hmm.
have a lot going on right now. I'm hoping next year things are strategized differently, but I take it very seriously and I don't want to let Scorpio risings down. And you have to be careful because they can sense things too all the
I'm
time.
reading energy even before
Yeah.
like someone opens their mouth.
Oh, yeah.
And I also love that your page is dedicated to that and you have that placement because who better knows what it's like to be a
Yeah,
Scorpio rising than another
definitely.
Scorpio rising
Yeah.
talking about their experience. I
Yeah.
love those types of videos, like people talking about their personal experience. Being a Scorpio rising or having Scorpio placements, happy Scorpio season.
Yeah.
I saw you also have a daughter who has Scorpio stellium.
I'm obsessed with her. Probably
I
because she has
love that.
when if anyone's a parent and listening, when they you want to be careful because if you do have a Leo moon child, you will subconsciously live through them. So like an analogy is, oh, you're gonna go be a superstar so that I can, claim the fame. I'm very aware of that. And but she has really hardcore boundaries. She's a Cap rising, and then she has five
Okay.
planets in Scorpio, and her Mars she is bitey. She's very
Mm,
bitey. But I know her chart, so I give her a lot of grace when she's here to learn about communication in a
hmm.
gracious way. So, are we on that side? We are far from it. So, but yeah, God gave me a Scorpio child, and then I have two kids that are Scorpio moon. So,
Interesting.
yeah,
Oh yeah, you know, you've
yeah,
got being a Scorpio down pat.
yeah. And then my boyfriend is a Scorpio stellium as well.
Crazy. I love it. A whole house full of Scorpios.
Oh,
That's like
girl.
extreme loyalty, but probably extreme attitude up in there.
I think it was Halloween night. It was very volatile in this house.
Yep.
Very volatile. And I called my best friend who's a Gemini rising, Virgo sun, Scorpio moon, and I just said I need support right now
I need
because
help.
because right now, my boyfriend and my 19-year-old who just had a birthday and my some of my Scorpio placements, they're all in synastry, they're all conjunct and then activated by everything right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think on Halloween or the night before Halloween, it was Scorpio Mercury conjunct Mars in the sky,
Something
I
like
believe.
that. Yeah.
Something like that. Or we just got past that planetary alignment. Now it's in Sagittarius.
Oh yeah.
You are Scorpio through and through. All your children have
Feel
Scorpio
it.
placements. You're
Yeah.
dating someone with the Scorpio stellium. But personally for you, Scorpio gets the archetype of going through a lot of transformation, betrayal, loss,
Mhm.
the archetype of literal death and rebirth. Like that is just a theme in our lives.
Yeah.
Or personally for me, I definitely
Yeah.
relate to that. If I'm a completely different person than who I was 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, like unrecognizable, even
Yeah.
physically.
Yeah.
So for you, how do you relate to that archetype of Scorpio rising? Is that a theme within your life? of just like loss, losing and finding yourself constantly, and then being like the phoenix rising from the ashes. I always describe
Yeah.
Scorpios as that
Yeah,
too.
they are, maybe their future self is wanting to, that's the direction, the trajectory that we should be on. Yeah, I will burn it all to the ground. I do think
Yeah.
that it depends on your obvious, like your whole natal chart. Um, but for example, I've been married twice, and I've gone through these crazy transformations. Like one day I quit drinking. I had like an epiphany. Um, I was talking about Jesus to everyone. I blew everyone's mind. And that was actually the start of my Saturn return. And
Interesting.
my Saturn is in the 11th house, conjunct Mercury and Jupiter. So it was very spiritual. I changed my whole friend group. Um, I went on this whole thing, and I too have changed physically. I've noticed my face changes physically very easily too if I'm not taking care of myself, but that's another thing. Um, I carry loss inside of me, and I mean, I battled with suicide since I was 9. So,
Mm,
and that's because of my depth, and it's not my fault. It's because of my depth, and it wasn't matched by the Aquarius on the fourth house. And I really try to teach that. I'm making a course right now, so hopefully it'll be ready next year. There's an archetype, and people have to understand the archetype. You don't want to go into your spotlight because the Leo is opposing the Aquarius. You don't want to let go of the group thinking mentality. But
yeah.
go back to your childhood where you like, I was just thinking today while I was driving, okay, I'm going to be around my family of origin for Thanksgiving. Do I keep my mouth shut because I was labeled a certain way? And now I realize that's not who I am. I dragged my family to therapy when I was a teenager. I literally said I do not feel loved. And I proclaimed the truth. I didn't feel love. But at that time, because I think I was younger and hadn't gone through more traumatic relationships, I didn't blame myself as much then. It was, we're going to solve this, not I'm going to, die like spiritually and physically. Um,
Yeah.
like we have a problem here. Like this is a we thing. This isn't just me. And there's reasons why that didn't work because people had skeletons in the closet. And that's what
Mm,
Scorpio rising does. And I think resentment builds up, anger builds up, and they don't know what to do with their depth. You have to inspire people. That's the Leo midheaven. I know you have a
mhm.
Virgo midheaven, but I do integrate, integrate the Leo with the Virgo or the Leo with the Cancer.
Yeah. Me
Yeah.
too.
So,
I also have a Leo Mercury in the,
oh, great. Well, this makes
so
you got your thing. You look beautiful. You're like,
thank
you
you.
better listen to me when I talk. I have a son with Mercury in the 10th house. So, uh,
Yes.
and he says, look at me when I talk.
Yep.
Yeah.
Me, I'm very much you will listen to me when I speak, and if you're not, and then I'm just not gonna talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like I
Well,
get very offended when
yeah.
people aren't listening. It was actually a thing growing up. I never did I ever feel like I was being heard.
Oh, that makes sense.
And now I'm like,
Probably
I want
weren't.
everyone to hear me. Yeah.
You probably weren't. And that's what I tried to explain things and things I've learned going through therapy myself. It's my experience. I need to understand my experience so that I can make sense of it and alchemize. And for the Scorpio rising, if we could be a perfect Scorpio rising, what would it look like? We would be in relationship because we wouldn't be running from the mirror that we hold up to someone else or vice versa. When they hurt us and we say to ourselves calmly, this is no good for me, I'm going to separate. But that separation doesn't kill us. We alchemize
Mhm.
it and we turn it into art. If you have a Scorpio rising with a lot of Libra placements, they're probably an artist or they work in the esoteric world with art. It's maybe they're an interior decorator, but this lamp over here doesn't just mean a lamp over here. It's very like deep and meaningful. And,
Hmm.
um, I think, am I biased? Maybe, but the Scorpio rising is the best sign because it's literally life after death.
Yeah.
I can't unwrap my head around that. I do
Yeah.
think they're badass signs just as much as Scorpio rising, but it's also, I think, one of the worst to have.
Yeah, I love and hate being a Scorpio rising. You are never catching a break for a long time. Like now I'm sitting in a time period of my life where it kind of feels a little peaceful and I'm like, yeah, but what lesson
What's
is
gonna
coming
happen?
around?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But it makes us just only stronger and also inspire other people to find that strength within themselves
Yeah.
too. And like what you said, we're master alchemizers. I realized that I've only bounced back 10 times stronger after that and better
Can't
and
help it.
wiser.
You can't help
Yeah,
it, right? There's something in you. Um, I do believe I do have like this belief that I think Scorpio risings were some kind of warriors in past lives.
I can see
Um,
that.
yeah, but now because Libra, which is relationships, is on the 12th house, there's some karma going on there. And so you're not to be the stinger and to take your opponent down with outright like physical force. It's more
Hmm.
about we're going to control the self, and and I'm working through this. I'm definitely wouldn't say I'm like a phoenix rising. I think
Hmm.
that happens in the next lifetime, and I'll come back as like a sag and not
Mm.
have to worry about anything. I don't know. I'll just be like
Interesting. Yeah, because a
happy
fire sign does come
after
after.
the water. Yeah. Um, I we were talking about like I'm so moody and Cap Moon. There's days I just don't. No, I don't mean it like I want to, end my life. It's very, very painful. And then at the same time, I'm so proud that I'm this reservoir. I'm this body that can take it all in because for the Scorpio rising, it wasn't allowed in childhood.
Yeah.
That really sucks. And I think that's where therapy comes in. I think the chart can help with that.
Hmm.
And we're actually we're kind of the scapegoats in the family of origin, but we literally stop the cycle.
Yeah, I feel
um
that. Hmm.
yeah, when you have I tell parents, if you have a child that's Scorpio rising, moon or sun, those are blunt kids. They're going to tell you. My son told me I lied the other day. I was not lying, but I get where he's coming from because I didn't act in accordance to what I promised earlier. That is a
Mm.
Scorpio moon for you. And I'll do that to my boyfriend. You told me this. And then
Yeah.
I'll remember another time that maybe he lied and I connect the two. And so I totally
Oh,
get,
yeah, for sure. My mom
yeah.
has a Scorpio stellium.
Oh, okay.
So, what you inherit from your parents, what you pass down to your children, like certain
Yeah.
qualities and
Yes.
astrological
Yeah.
placements, because I feel like I perceive the world because I had a mother who moved in such a way that was similar to
Yeah. And
that. Like
that
my mom was like that. So, yeah.
Scorpio sun's not really timid. A Scorpio rising can be very unsure of themselves.
Have realized that doing like readings
Yeah.
throughout the past. My mom has a Scorpio, she's a Capricorn, but she has a Scorpio, Venus, Mars, and Jupiter.
Okay.
So that activates my first sign, but only in whole signs.
Okay. Got it. And that counts, right?
Yeah. I did not have a good relationship with my mom growing up, I will
Oh,
say,
Cat
which is
moon.
very interesting, Cat Moon. But she's a Capricorn and we have like very similar placements, but also very not at the same time. And I think a big thing was maybe I was a mirror to her growing up and I was actually a lot like her. And my friends will tell me I'm a lot like my mom too. And I'm like, am I? And I think that was something, we have a better relationship now, but I think that was definitely something growing up, along with things that she was going through in her own life too. So another archetype of being a Scorpio rising too is being surrounded by death and loss.
Mm.
So literally when I was born, my mom's father passed away 2 weeks after, and
Wow.
my dad's grandmother passed away 2 weeks before my birth. So I had two sides of my family grieving, very heavy losses, deaths. And also my mom was going through postpartum while also grieving her father. So I think that was just
You absorbed
a
all that.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like right off you said your Chiron's in the first. Is it in Sag or is it in Scorpio?
it's in Scorpio.
So that makes sense too,
Yeah.
that kind of entry.
Yeah. And I think just having that, like, always the concept of death and not being comforted by it, but being
Okay.
comfortable with the idea.
That's
Like,
my Scorpio rising daughter that we were mentioning. She's an artist and her work is very dark. She'll paint herself covered in blood, and
hmm.
she's a Scorpio stellium through and her moon in Leo is in the eighth house. So
Oh yeah. So she very scorpionic.
she can antagonize me because her Mars is in my first house. So I try not to let that happen. It's very rare, knock on wood. We're not through
Yeah.
yet, but um yeah, those things are generational. This is one thing I don't have in common, and I really hope I don't jinx myself here. And we are in a Mercury retrograde. I have not been surrounded by death in
Hmm.
a way where it was shocking. I know that for a lot of Scorpio risings, they can lose a partner to death. So
Yeah.
I haven't experienced that yet, but I've
Hmm.
had partners where like I'm divorcing twice. So I don't, that could be a part of it. But
Yeah.
all
The
the people
loss of a partner, not physically, but
yeah.
just their
Um,
presence.
oh, but for the Scorpio risings, we are going to have Uranus going into the eighth house. So I'm kind of holding my
Yes.
breath, to be honest. And I'm always telling my boyfriend to take care of his heart and exercise. And,
Hmm.
you
Yeah, I'm also very interested about that transit because how was Uranus going through the seventh house for you? It was a roller coaster for me.
know,
Like a roller
it was
coaster
like
in my room.
clockwork. It was like just the
Yeah.
instability was, it was 2018, I think. Um,
Yeah.
that was when my marriage, like, I didn't want to be married.
Yeah.
But Scorpio risings are known to cling for a very long time. That has to do with the archetype and how Libra falls into the 12th house. But that's when the instability and it was like shocking shit just happening over and over again. And I
Yeah.
finally just got pushed. And it was really interesting because when this happened, I was very much into astrology. I think it was the planet Uranus in the seventh house was squaring exactly like Venus in my fourth. And
Mm,
my then husband came home with a brand new truck without telling me. And it's like you knew like the whole history that we'd already gone through. It was just a sucker punch to the stomach. And that's when I
yeah.
take it my mind. But
It was like
um
the icing on top of the cake.
yeah, so it was like a money thing, it was a loan thing, it was a shocking thing. It was just
Yeah.
yeah, really, really insane, really crazy. And I'm happy that that part is coming to an end with the transits going on. But personally, I have my Venus squares my nodes. My Venus is conjunct Pluto, and those square my nodes. So I
Mm.
personally have a lot of things going on with relationships and value for like the whole course of my life. That's part of why I'm here.
But Uranus going through the seventh house was definitely a roller coaster of heartbreak, like betrayal and then heartbreak
So
and losing
much.
and finding myself and meeting people and finding a different identity. That's when I started dating women and then
So
losing
that's
that
something that could
person.
happen for a lot of Scorpio risings.
Yes, that is
With
a pattern that I saw
yeah,
with
and that going into
Uranus.
Gemini soon for the eighth house.
Yeah.
Be very experimental, like
Yeah. I'm
for
hoping
some
it
people.
brings unexpected money to
Me too.
me. That's
Well,
what
I
I'm
actually kind of
that's what
off
I'm
topic.
manifesting.
Yeah, off topic, but I actually know someone who won $1 million. And I said, I need to have your chart. Like, this is a friend of my boyfriend. I said, I need that chart for research purposes. I guessed his rising sign based on just I didn't have his time, but based on when he won the lottery. Like, okay, this is a North Node thing happening in the eighth house. He won
Hmm.
the jackpot, wasn't even supposed to be at the store buying that lotto ticket.
Wow.
Enough, I guessed his rising sign, and it was because something was aspecting his North Node in the eighth house.
I like working with the North Node
Yeah.
with into my readings and when I give readings and when I just make like content because I think it's so slept on, but also a little misunderstood because the North Node brings a lot of blessings, but also
A
it's
change.
very hard to work with
Yeah.
the North Node.
Yeah. That's one of my main because my website's actually northnode.blog.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about like your purpose. Like I try to keep people focused on the purpose. Yeah.
Yeah. I love
Um,
that.
yeah. So we could win the lottery. Yeah, Scorpio risings can win the lottery over the next 8 years or get inheritance, or that's why I'm encouraging, if you are in the space where you want to create something for passive income, this is an increase in income by selling your digital product or whatever on the internet.
Mm,
And a lot of Scorpio
yeah.
risings, because Uranus is going through the eighth, different modalities of money. It's really okay if you have like three different ways of earning income right now. That
Hmm.
it's really okay. And it's kind of with Sag on the second, I do coach Scorpio risings. You don't have to get so fixated on one career. It depends on the whole chart, but it's things are seasonal. You're not like a normal person. You can't really work 9 to 5 and just be bossed around all day. For a lot of them, it doesn't work.
Yep. I definitely feel that too with having an Aries sixth house.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I like to live my day how I want to live
Yeah.
my day.
Yeah.
I don't like being
Exactly.
told what I have to do.
Yeah.
I think having Earth in our charts is a little like I could do it, right? Like I could be a hard
You
worker.
could
I
be
have
so
stayed at jobs.
helpful. Yeah, you
Yes.
probably, because I feel like I could be such a good assistant to someone.
Yes, for sure. I love to plan things, like the flexibility of the schedule. I also like a fast-paced environment too. I don't know. I like I can't just be at a desk job 9 to 5.
Oh, that sounds
I've
awful.
tried it, hated it. I'm
I
looking at the
haven't done that.
clock.
Yeah. I've worked for myself since I think I was 21 or something. I was in the military for a short bit and then had started a family, and then I've worked for myself. I waited tables for a little bit in between.
Yeah.
Um, but that's fun because you're talking with people and moving around and multitasking.
Exactly, multitasking and like something always has my attention
Yeah.
and I like it too. So that is definitely something. Also because I literally just watched a whole long video with Chris Brennan. Do you know the astrology podcast with Chris Brennan?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love Chris Brennan. He's like
yeah.
one of my
Your go-tos.
my go-to astrologers when I first started learning astrology. I would take his class, buy his classes and courses and stuff. And as actually, I was just listening to a 5 hour long podcast of
Oh,
his the other day, and it was on the ruler of the fifth house and different houses.
okay.
So, being that the ruler of our second house of Sagittarius is Jupiter, how we make money, also another way of looking at where we can make money or where's the money at for us is
Yeah.
looking where Jupiter at is at in our
Yes,
chart.
yes, yes.
So, that was another thing for me because I have Jupiter in my fifth house.
Mhm.
Um, so I always innately felt like, okay, not meant for a 9 to 5. I meant to do something creative. I also have so many different interests, like what you said, having multiple forms of income, having Sagittarius in the second house, and always being intrigued by a lot. So that was another thing. I was like, oh, I have my ruler of my second house of finances in the fifth house of creativity. I know that I'm meant to, and children too.
Hey,
So I'm
children.
like, makes sense why these things intrigue me, why
Yeah.
they are a passion of mine.
So Jupiter for you is it in Pisces or is it in
Yeah, Pisces.
Oh, okay. So has it been a good time for you with the North Node in Pisces and kind of like is it coming together? I always
Honestly, the past year has been, especially the past since the summer till now, has been a good time.
yeah.
So I like a time of peace and just really like getting my stuff together and focusing on me. I think like a little burden is just that Saturn going through the fifth house since 2023.
Yeah, I felt
So,
that. I did not like Saturn going through the fifth house. It was like it's literally the opposite of fun. It was the
yeah.
struggle bus, for sure. And maybe because I'm a cat moon, I'm like, okay, I got this. It's going in my six. Like I got this. The only thing I'm
Hmm.
concerned about is my health. So I've been trying to
Me
like
too.
care of my health, and I've been going to the gym at 5:45 in the morning with my 21-year-old. She'll come over, we'll drive. So we're on
Hmm.
week one, just trying to like, okay, I'm not supposed to eat gluten or wheat. Okay. And so I'm on my protocol,
Me too.
taking care of the teeth. Yeah. And I have Lyme disease actually. So
Mhm.
I'm just very mindful of that. So I think Saturn in the sixth will be a little bit more, I hope more than the fifth. That was not fun.
I was liking Saturn in the sixth when it dipped its toes this summer. I like Saturn and Aries, way different vibes. Saturn and Pisces is just way too like mumbo jumbo of completely two different energies. Like
Yeah,
Pisces is the complete opposite of everything that Saturn rules.
yeah,
And in my fifth house, so Saturn going through my fifth house, I was sober. I completely cut everything off.
okay,
Alcohol, everything, even dating. I was
okay.
strictly focused
Oh, so
on
you detox
myself.
on any kind of like, so that makes a lot of sense because when someone has a north node in their fifth house, it's time to like be like, you have to get yourself away from that group. Stop leaning on that group. Don't hide your identity. And it's kind of like me, me, me. I like the selfish energy for Scorpio rising. Actually, I encourage it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I needed it. I
Yeah.
completely like no distractions and also no running away. Like
Yeah.
that was the goal. So from July 2024 to August 2025, I was completely just not dating, just focused on me, not drinking, not doing anything, not even really going out. And I needed that.
Yeah.
But that was literally like Saturn through the fifth house, like putting boundaries on dating because I was in
Yeah.
back-to-back failed relationships. So I
Yeah.
was like, all right, what's happening? So I stopped drinking. I was like, I'm using alcohol to cope. So I was like, let's stop doing that. I stopped, yeah, partying, like going out, like just spending money on like that. I just felt like I needed to get a grip. And I'm grateful for Saturn in the fifth house for that
Yeah.
way, but it was
Yeah.
definitely not a fun
Yeah.
time.
It's like restriction on your pleasure and kind of like, what are we really having? What's really fun? Because it's not fun when you wake up with a hangover and Saturn's sitting there going,
Yeah.
I told you so. How old are you?
Yeah. I'm 27.
Okay, okay. So I rarely drink. I actually did not drink for I think 18 years. So I had
Okay.
my first drink last year, but I feel gross and fat and ugly when I drink alcohol. So it's
Me
very
too.
not to drink and yeah.
Hmm.
Um but my Saturn return I just switched it all off.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
That's why when you mentioned that, I was like wondering,
In the 11th house.
interesting. So you started your own podcast
I just started it
recently,
finally.
and I
Yeah.
just thought that was so
Thanks.
well, you said we were
I
aligned because I was like, I feel like she would be a perfect guest on my podcast and I feel like she would like it. And then I went on your TikTok and I saw that you literally the day
just
before
posted
you
it.
just posted about
Like,
it. And I'm like,
yeah.
oh, yeah,
Yeah, we were
perfect.
on the same wavelength because the way that I work, and this is in my charting, like I would say this is a blockage. I start something, and I make it happen, and then
Hmm.
I feel very depressed.
Yeah.
I'm like, so I'm sitting in bed and I'm just like bitching. And it's like I forget how far I've come and I've done the process of things and I forget like, oh, this is just part of it. And then my boyfriend just says, well, you just need to be on someone's podcast. You just need, I'm like, oh yeah, duh. Like I have so much in my 11th house. I'm actually here to just help other people.
Hmm.
That's part of why I'm here. And
Yeah.
it's just to help other people connect and really that's it. When I'm doing that, I am in alignment. And then you message me the next day.
So for your podcast, what is the inspiration or the purpose of that?
It's to support your children be who they are so that they can fulfill their mission while they're
Hmm.
here. Like that's it. And what does that look like? That means backing off and having a lot of compassion for self. And when your kid is having an emotion, like you can see why this bothers them in the chart. And like,
Hmm.
for example, my youngest, he's the only boy of four kids. He's the only boy, he's 8. He has his North Node in Leo, conjunct Vesta, which is really good. That's very nice for someone to have, and it's in his 11th house, and he's like, why do I have to go to school today? I just want to do a YouTube channel. And I'm like,
No.
that's funny. um so I keep the spirit alive, like that's what our
Yeah.
parents do. But and I am good at working with children and their emotions. It's a talent of mine. So the whole way to school that day, that was a long drive, 20 minutes of him almost screaming.
Mm.
I'm just staying in the truth. He's a Scorpio moon, his moon with his Scorpio in my first house. We're working together. And I'm just repeating everything to him because, first of all, he's a Scorpio moon. these children, they're going to trigger the parent. So if I would have
Yeah.
had him when I was 21, I would have ruined him. I thank God I did. My first two children do not have Scorpio moons because
Mm.
these a lot of these people, they don't talk to their parents. The parents were not self-aware. So and I just bounced back to him like, yeah, you're right, it is stupid to go to school when we have this YouTube channel dream. And so I just bounce everything back.
Yeah.
You could see, because I'm very strong-willed, like you're not winning. But
Yeah.
so he sees I'm still going to the school, and as he's seeing like, oh, well, this building is pretty close to the school, he starts to calm down. And I got him to talk, and I went into his fears with him. That's the Scorpio moon. You can't say, oh, everything's fine. You can't do that, because they need to be able to hold space for that terror, and they will learn to alchemize it. It's a beautiful thing. And so I finally, after 25 minutes of the drive and him crying and screaming, saying, I hate myself. I mean, he's saying all these things, but it's not throwing me off track. All it was, he's a Cancer sun. All it was
Mm.
that he's in the front row of class and the teacher calls on him too much. That was the
Mm.
real reason. So his teacher is really nice, very empathetic, and she could see right away that Jack wasn't okay. And she just gave him a hug and she just said, what's going on? And I said in front of him, because I'm his voice while I'm his parent, I'm his voice. So he needs to see me speak it out of my throat chakra and say, he's just really upset right now because he gets called on too much and he doesn't want to be in the front of the classroom. It makes his stomach hurt. He's a Cancer sun. So it is somatic, but it's still real. And she said, oh my gosh, no problem. She changed the desk immediately. She's very wise like that.
Aw.
And so
Yeah.
he stayed in school, and I stayed with him in that emotion the whole way. But let me tell you, that's not how I parented at 22 or 30. I was the parent throwing stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
looking back, I can see like now my older kids, their moon sign, I know where I messed up. Um,
Yeah.
so it really does
What
matter.
are
And
your older kids' moon signs? You said one has a
um,
Leo moon, and then the
yeah, so
Scorpio moons were.
the two little ones, so my 11-year-old daughter and then my only boy, they have Scorpio moons. And
Mm-hmm.
the daughter is an Aries rising, so her moon's in the eighth. So it's a double whammy.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And my son is a Libra rising, and his moon falls in the first house. So it's very important. He is
Okay.
emotional. Um,
Yeah.
and then my oldest, she's 21. She is a Cancer rising with a Libra moon in the sixth house. So that tells me, if I can be like, look at it from a detached angle, if the mother is not self-aware, then she's not going to bring harmony to this child's life. She's not going to bring harmony in her day to day. She's going to make her feel inadequate. And those are all things I did definitely do.
Mm.
So, a Libra moon child, you want to take them shopping. It's clothes and stuff like that. Like to this day, she has a hard time like buying herself nice stuff. So
Yeah.
and that's the one I go to the gym with. So I have a great relationship with them. And I do think astrology, but it happened with, because I was that Christian mom who was, oh, we'll just pray. And I wasn't
Mm.
there emotionally with them and present. My second oldest, she's a Leo moon. So it's very important that when she does something artistic, that I give it praise. I would tell a parent, I use this analogy because parents are trying to figure out, how do I deal with this problem child or whatever. So if your
Yeah.
child has a Leo moon and they just come out of the bathroom with your expensive makeup smeared all over their face, they just created an artistic expression, and we'll worry about the mess later. We need to connect with the performance that she just gave us. Or
Yeah.
and you can't humiliate a Leo moon child. Now,
Oh no, they take it so personally.
it's awful. So for a teenager, like I have a Cap rising child who's 19 and then a Scorpio stellium.
Mm-hmm.
She was the kid who was correcting me while I was talking to another parent. You didn't say that. That's not what you did, mom. So that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense. And that's not a time to be like, can you just give me respect? Like anything that would be humiliating, that's going to break the connection. And the moon sign is about safety and not, parents just want to correct. And I'm learning this because I'm in therapy. It's not like I'm some expert really,
Yeah.
but the moon sign will tell you so much on how they feel safe in their body. And I can look at any adult's chart and kind of guess what kind of mother they had. And I always
I
say it's
love
like
that part of astrology.
your moon sign doesn't change. So your mother teaches you how to nurture it so that the child grows up and they take responsibility and nurture it. But did your mother help you with it? The child can't tell you, don't humiliate me. You humiliated me. They don't even know what humiliation feels like.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I have the description, I can, if my daughter's very pissed at me, the 19-year-old, and I realize what I did wrong, I could offer the words, wow, did I just humiliate you? That
Yeah.
must have been humiliating. Like if something happened with her friends, somebody canceled on her.
Yeah.
Um, she's a Cap Rising, so you never leave a Cap Rising out of food plans. I messed up the other day. I got a lot of kids. It's going, it's crazy here.
Mm-hmm.
I got Chick-fil-A. I think I got Chick-fil-A for one kid, but not her. She works full time and she's busy. She's not always here.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have a curfew. She runs her own life. I just really wasn't thinking of her. And she's like, I'm just not going to eat. I'm like, we just took you out to dinner for your birthday yesterday, is what I was thinking in my head.
Mm-hmm.
But cancer is on their descendant. It's food. So it's a
Yeah, that's
real,
the love language.
it's the
Yeah.
love language. So today I got her sushi and brought it home from the store. And I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
not kissing her butt, but I'm speaking to her love language a little bit. That's through the,
Yeah.
but it's also the moon, Cancer moon.
I love that. Using astrology to help understand your children and to form better relationships and family bonds, because I'm
Yeah.
such a big believer that it starts off in the home. Like
Yeah.
it starts off with understanding parents and creating like a loving home environment, and we raise those children up to be good people that are then into society and spreading love instead of trauma and hatred. And that's
Yeah.
where it starts. Like this is the foundation, like having a parent who is aware and understanding and patient, and if they just knew these little things astrologically about their own child's birth chart, it helps so much. And to also know that you need to raise each child a little differently. Like you
Yes.
need to
Yes.
approach each child a little
Yes.
differently. Like just because you're all in one
Yes.
household doesn't mean that, everyone is the same.
It's so true. And that's what I say. And I use myself as an example. I have 4 kids, and amongst them is 3 different moon signs. And
Hmm.
they are going to experience me differently. I have a Capricorn moon, and then I have a Cancer sun. So I can't speak to him in a harsh tone. I lose the connection. So
Yeah.
he's very, very sensitive. And then on top of it, he has the Scorpio moon. So I have to be very mindful of that. And then how kids process anger, we'll look at Mars. Um,
Yeah.
where Mars is. Well, when you have an adult with Mars in the second, they're all about their stuff. But the talent with that is they can be very good at gaining assets, which means making money.
Yeah.
So it's funny because all these things are like so ironic. It's like the child comes in wanting and loving money, and the parent had a core wound that has to do with money. And they're like telling them, not everything's about money. Money's bad. But when you have a strong second house and maybe you have Mars there, you have the ability to teach others your like a strong value system. This is a kid who doesn't want you touching their toys without permission. This is a
Yeah.
protection over the second house. So I'll explain something like that to a parent and try to show them the bigger picture. And while we know that and we can respect them and say, oh yeah, you're right, that I would be mad if my sister just grabbed my toy too, and acknowledging that. And then on a subconscious level, on a sneaky level, almost like teaching your kid that they are not what they own. And that's like an example
Mm.
of Mars in the second house. And that's, if you look at it in this beautiful way of what could be someone with a strong Mars in the second, they can accumulate wealth. They can be very like this with their stuff, but
Yeah. Possessive.
possessive, exactly. They don't
Yeah.
hoard stuff. Um, but if you can teach them at a young age, because you know that they have Mars in the second, that they are not what they have, they're important already. That can go a long way with Mars, because Mars is
Mm.
important in anyone's chart, also.
So that's going to be like the basis of your upcoming pod or the podcast that you just started, right? Just
I
like,
just started it. I had the kids, my little ones, they go with between me and their dad every other week. So they're with dad today. So I'm kind of like doing a mental shift. So I'm going to upload a bunch of episodes to catch up, keep some in my back
awesome.
pocket for when they come back. So there's just an intro to the rising signs right now, and I focus on the third house. So that's going to be a big part of it. I don't like the school system. If you have Capricorn on the third, you're not, you just want to go make money and you want to go do your thing. This is very serious. This is all stupid. That can be
Hmm.
something for a Scorpio rising. And I did homeschool my kids. So um I really want to focus on the education part, but it's really about how they absorb things and then integrating that
Yeah.
into their purpose to keep the bigger picture. Because, for example, there's parents that really talk really bad about online video games. I
Hmm.
get it. You don't want them on the screen all the time. The way I parent is very different from most parents and how I used to parent. But like Jack, my youngest, he builds games. He gets inspiration
Mm.
from playing games. So,
Yeah.
and I don't know where the technology is going to lead. And when you have a North Node in Vesta in the 11th house in Leo, like he does, he already has experience in groups of people because his South Node is in the Aquarius. Now
Hmm.
he's here to showcase his talent. Um,
Interesting. And I always say when people are feeling lost and when I give dream career readings, especially if people have Leo placements too or fifth house placements, I'm always like, reflect on what your inner child likes or what you liked as a child. What did you play with? How did you play? Like what was your imagination like? Like what made you happy as a kid? Because that could give you a clue on your
clue.
passions moving forward.
I always had a camcorder and we would make movies, and I TikTok for me is very comfortable, and that's what
Yeah.
I try to encourage is don't take yourself so seriously. Like no people are watching this on the toilet.
Yeah, literally.
Like
Hmm.
yeah, it doesn't really nobody really cares. And if they're
Yeah.
scrutinizing you, it's probably because you're doing well at something. And that's something back to the Scorpio archetype. People will be jealous of you.
Jealousy.
Jealousy.
Yes.
Every Scorpio rising, whether despite your age, you're going through the Pluto, digging out your fourth house stuff, and Pluto's going to go, "Oh, you were just a problem child," and he's going to hold it up in front of you and say, "Do you want to keep using this?" And
Hmm.
so, and it's going to be tested in the seventh house because that's squaring the seventh, so that's your relationship. So that's a really long 2 decade process. Um,
Yeah. I'm
yeah.
interested of what that Pluto going through the fourth with Uranus through the eighth is going to look like, but at the same time,
I think if you're in the healing industry, it can be good because
yes, I think it's a lot of digging deep
it
for
is.
sure.
And I think that a lot of people, and you're into psychology and like you said, Reiki too, Reiki,
Yeah.
which I use as a modality to help me.
Hmm.
Um, Connecting those two places in the chart, those air houses, it's
Hmm.
like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling this thing going on in my fourth house, my childhood, and it's your mother's lineage too. It's what's been passed down through the womb and the DNA. Um,
Hmm.
and you're getting like flashes of insight and like, oh, I think I know how to solve this problem for other people. And then the eighth house is talking to your 10th house with the sextile. And this is how you can bounce it back to the career for the Scorpio rising if that's what they're doing, like in healing work. I've been
Hmm.
telling Scorpio risings, if you are in healing work and you're thinking of some pretty outside the box ideas to help people, go with it. Scorpio rising, you're not here to teach your family. You're here to shine in the public atmosphere, not
Hmm.
your Leo, which is ruled by the sun. It's at the top of the chart, not at home. Yeah.
Actually, now that when you say that out loud, I definitely relate to that. I think having Aquarius in the fourth house, this is a we problem. Like, what can we do to fix it? Like, that was definitely something that I felt growing up. I'm like, all right, if you just did this and you just did this, and everything
Oh
would
yeah.
be okay. As I
Yeah.
get older and I'm at a time period in my life, I moved away from my family. I live in Florida. They still live up north. And I've realized that the most I can do to help is to lead by example and to live the life that I want to live and have everyone else follow suit.
That's a really big one for Scorpio rising because your chart ruler is Mars. Think of it in a different way. Mars also rules Aries, and they ostracize their friends in a way because they just go. So they tend
Mm-hmm.
to leave them out a little bit. And if we can kind of follow that in the Mars way, that is really, really helpful. I sometimes just want to like shake Scorpio rising and saying, why are you so fixated on what your family thinks? Like literally, if you think about it, your family is what, maybe five people,
Mm-hmm.
and you have the
Yeah.
whole world to speak to.
Interesting. Yeah, that's very true.
That's how powerful it is. And so that's Pluto will be doing that for people. So I look forward to actually your age group and the kids that are Scorpio risings because they're going through Pluto in their fourth house too.
Yeah.
That's going to be difficult. That means family can be divorcing, they lose family. They're really experiencing loss in the context of their home life right now.
Moon Mars compatibility is definitely a love-hate compatibility that I
Yeah.
have too.
I have that with my Scorpio stellium daughter. My Mars is in Leo and her moon's in Leo, and they are conjunct almost exactly. It's like 3 degrees apart. So
Mm,
looking back on her life through like how she experienced me makes a lot of sense. She still has resentment. Not that I have tough skin as a parent. They can have an experience and it's not like I have it's a dagger. It's their experience. They when she was little and I made a change and astrology was helping me and she was so mad at me and she would keep it in. I would curse for her. I would say, you must be really effing pissed. I needed to give her permission because I had squashed it. And for a Scorpio, that's the opposite of Taurus, which is the throat.
yeah.
So you need Scorpio kids to be able to release it. But the hard part for the parent is they tell you the truth and it's going to hurt your feelings and you're going to take it the wrong way. But are
Yeah.
they lying? Probably not. Yeah.
I love how aware you are though, and how you can put a mirror to your face and be like, I understand my child's experience and perception of me during this time period. And instead of taking it very personally or even disregarding your own
Right.
child's, you take it, have it, hold space for it, and then like want to be better or understand it or dissect it. I think
Yeah.
that's very rare to find. And I think it's a perk of knowing astrology and like loving astrology and incorporating astrology.
And like their chart has nothing to do with me. It's asking me as the parent with a child's chart, how can I help them with their nuances and their personality and their experience? Because if you have two children and one is a Taurus moon and then a Leo moon, that Taurus moon needs a lot of physical comfort. So if you're rushed throughout the day and that child's coming up to you for some body touching with nourishment, like they're getting their nourishment through skin on skin contact. Like if you have a Taurus moon baby, they need to be on your skin to skin. And you bypass that. And then next thing you know, the kid's mad at you. You're going through the teenage years. Maybe it's a very toxic environment. And that kid is saying, you never hugged me. And the mom's going, what are you talking about? I put a roof over your head. You didn't give
Mm,
them the body comfort. It's not about what you did. And so that's another reason why I'm so passionate about that is children are not stupid. They
yeah.
know a lot about themselves if you listen. They listen pretty well to their body. I don't like the term temper tantrum. I don't really kind of like when parents say, "Oh, they had a temper tantrum," because really when they flung themselves on the floor, they were somatically releasing this. If
Yeah.
they don't, it stays inside. That's another thing with the children's charts. If you know your child's Chiron, you cannot erase this core wound, but you can help support them. And then coming from the alchemizing standpoint, you're not going to break down, you're going to feel it. And then you
Yeah.
do something with that power out in the real world, I guess, if you want to call it.
Exactly. That was a big purpose of why I even started this podcast, to be honest. Like I had a moment of realization. I was like, everything that I've gone through in my life is not going to be for no reason. I'm going to alchemize it
That's
into,
kind of Scorpio rising.
yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
That is the epitome of being a Scorpio rising, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I love this episode with you. Thank you so much for
Thanks for texting.
hopping on this with me. Where
Yeah.
can people find you, connect with you, listen to your podcast?
So right now the podcast is only on Spotify and it's called Cosmic Rebels. And then I have TikTok and that's underscore Astro Mom underscore. I am gonna start talking about children's astrology, but only on lives because I have to
Okay.
stay loyal to the Scorpio Rising motto.
Yeah.
I have, they're just loyal. So they demand loyalty is what I mean.
Now you have your podcast to talk about child astrology, parent-child relationship astrology, and I love that for you. I see you, the passion, the fire inside of you, and I am a
Thank
big believer in it. I know that it's gonna be successful and really touch a lot of listening ears and parents who
you.
really just want to be a good parent and just like understand their child. So I love what you're doing.
Thank you. Oh, and then my website is northnode.blog. So that's
Perfect.
out there. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you again. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's fun.
And I
Anytime.
will make sure to follow your upcoming podcast. I'm so excited for your episodes that you told me that are going to be released soon.